Hey everybody, welcome back to another painting tutorial on Tabletop Anarchy. Today I'm going to be taking you through how I painted the Yaks for the Blood Red Skies. I've painted it as Lydia Litvak's plane, and I will be showing you as well a slight review with the new decals from Warlord Games. So I hope you enjoy the tutorial and I hope it helps. The first step, once your plane is ready to paint, is to just put a quick primer, and for this I used a light grey. The first paint you want to use is Brainmatter Beige from Army Painter, and this colour you want to use to paint the entire underside of the plane. Did it in 2 or 3 thin coats, because obviously it takes quite a bit more covering than normal. Just add a few drops of water to improve, its flow and just thin it down a bit, because you don't really want to lose all the detail in all the panel lines and such. And it's obviously better just putting 2-3 coats on rather than just one thick coat. The next colours you want to use now are a bit of a mixture of Angel Green and Army Green, and they are mixed roughly 60-40 in favour of the Angel Green. This colour is now to be applied for basically the rest of the model you haven't already painted, top side of the plane, and it's pretty much the colour the Yak was originally before any paint was applied to it. So as long as the colour is roughly that colour, that'll be fine. It's now time to start adding some camouflage stripes to your plane, and for that I used dark stone. It has had a few drops of water added to it just to make it a bit more easier to flow on your model. And what I did is I got a thin brush, painted the outlines first, and then once you're happy with the pattern of the camouflage, filled the inside of the lines. And it's to be applied, sort of as long as it's got equal coverage between the dark stone and the green. It's pretty good, but you can always get a reference photo. I did have one in front of me, and I was using it as a rough guide. But yeah, just do what you think looks best, and then it's time to move on to the next step. The next step is to apply paint to your canopy, and for that I use Griffon Blue. I know a lot of you have probably got your own personal preferences on colours, so now is the time to apply those. But being quite a dark model, I didn't want to make it look odd with a really light canopy, so I thought Griffon Blue looked pretty good. But once your canopy's complete, it's time to move on to the next step. The final paint now is Necromancer Cloak, and that is to be applied on the nose cone and the exhausts. The next step is to apply your decals to your miniature, and for this particular tutorial I will be showing you the Warlord ones, and I'll let you know obviously how they go on and what they look like. But the first thing you want to do is grab yourself some Microset from Microscales and just brush that over the parts of your miniature where the decals will be going. The 2 main reasons I use it is because 1, it helps the decals stick to the model better, and 2, it does help it move around sort of curves on the models, and helps you push the decals into recesses better. So that's the reason I use this, and you just leave it on there sort of, minute, 2 minutes. Once your decal has been soaked in some warm water for about 60 seconds, you'll want to get yourself a paintbrush and then lightly slide it off the transfer sheet to a rough position where you want it on your model. Once you've got it into a rough position, you're going to want to give it another quick coat of the Microset and then let that stand for about another minute. When you're happy with the positioning of your decals, get yourself a moist piece of kitchen towel and you want to go press quite firmly against your model to really get all them air bubbles out and to give your decal a strong bond on your model. The final step in your decals is to now get the Microscale solution from Microscales and brush that over all your decals. This is again acts in a couple of ways. It softens your decals a bit more and it really helps it stick to your model and give it a real painted on look. So you want to give that a quick coat and just leave it to dry. I've done it many occasions. You'll look at it and you think, oh, you know, the decal's coming off, and you'll try and play with it and you'll rip it. This does make it look sometimes like your decals are starting to bubble off your miniature, but just don't touch them. They will sort themselves out and they will stick back down to the model even better than they were before. So that's the one piece of advice, just don't touch them, and this you can apply as many times as you want. That wraps up the decal side of it, and this is the first time I've used the Blood Red Skies decals, and I must say I am very impressed by them. They're, you know, a fantastic little product. They stick really well. I had no trouble with them at all. From the other decals I've used in tutorials, you've seen I must say these are far superior. As you can tell from the close-ups now, they stick into them recesses lovely, and you can even see where the joins of the decals are. So I, you know, strongly recommend you get some of these for your tutorials. The final step now in painting your miniature is to just put a quick wash on it, and for that I used Army Painter's Dark Tone and their mixing medium. Mixed it roughly 50-50 and applied 2 coats. Being a dark model, it wasn't as overpowering with the washes. You can obviously make it as dirty as you want, but I thought 2 looked pretty good, and then obviously once them washes are dried, that's the tutorial complete. That wraps up the tutorial for today, so I hope you enjoyed that and I hope it's going to help you. The Warlord decals really made this miniature look, you know, really good, so I do really recommend you go out there and get some decals if you're thinking of painting some Blood Red Skies. If you've got any comments, questions, or there's any tutorials you want me to cover, stick it in the comments below and I will get back to you. But as always, if you like the video, like it. If you like the channel, subscribe, and I hope to see you in the war room soon.